long should the Chicago Bears wait for Deshaun Watson? What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL, and here to talk about this very topic that, of course, I am proposing to you guys, which is how long is too long for Deshaun Watson. But before I do, if you're new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and subscribe if you have not done so already. Hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. And guys, please make sure you are following me on all my social media platforms. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right, I know I've covered the Deshaun Watson to the Bears news pretty much from every single angle, maybe even ad nauseum. Maybe some of you guys are tired of me covering the Deshaun Watson to the Bears news because it's got such a, small chance of even happening. But there is a chance, right? And so I must talk about it until Deshaun Watson is with another team. Until Deshaun Watson gets traded to another team not named the Chicago Bears, then the Chicago Bears have a chance at Deshaun Watson. And until then, got to talk about it. So, one of you guys actually reached out and asked this question, which I thought was great. And again, this is why I love when you guys do reach out, and kind of give me ideas to talk about here. And sometimes I take these ideas and run with them, right? And one of you guys asked me, Faiz, how long is too long to wait for Deshaun, right? Because, look, like I mentioned, there is a chance that Deshaun Watson is not with the Chicago Bears as their starting quarterback next year. Very good chance, probably. And if that's not the case, you have to have a plan B, right? This is not just obviously in football, but in life. All right, if plan A doesn't work out, you need plan B, C, D, whatever. So how long is too long? I'm going to answer that for you guys. So let's talk about the two main kind of dates that we need to focus on. All right, the two main dates that we need to know with the NFL offseason are the draft and free agency. All right, and free agency comes first, and then it's the draft. So the new league year starts March 15th, I think, or 17th, one of those two, and that's when free agency begins. And then we've got the draft in April. All right, so it's coming very close. So free agency first, and then the draft. The reason I bring up these two events is because this is when you have a chance to fill that quarterback position. All right, technically you can do it anytime once the new league year starts, but these are the opportunities where teams really go ahead and exercise those powers to be able to fill up their quarterback position. So I mentioned free agency comes first, right? Well, taking a look at free agency, folks, after Dak Prescott, it gets really dry. I'm talking Sahara Desert dry out there in terms of the talent pool at quarterback, all right? We're talking about a lot of Jameis Winstons, Andy Daltons, Ryan Fitzpatricks, a lot of guys like that, all right? Nobody really worth paying any top dollar for, honestly. There is not a single, I believe, starting caliber quarterback in free agency. I mean, again, a lot of Jacoby Brissett's, guys like that. So after Dak Prescott, who most people believe is going to go back to the Dallas Cowboys, either they sign him to a long-term extension or they franchise tag him for like the 15th time, he is probably going back to Dallas. So free agency, there really isn't much out there where you're going to say, okay, we've got our guy, that's our quarterback for 2021, and we feel good about it. And so free agency really might not be the answer where you're ready to give up on the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. All right. And so if it's not free agency, then is it the draft? And this is where I say yes, it is the draft in April. That is, to me, the latest the Chicago Bears can afford to wait in a trade for Deshaun Watson, because during draft time, the Bears have the 20th overall pick. This is your opportunity to be able to draft a quarterback. And you don't want to, kind of be in limbo here and not draft a quarterback because you thought you were getting Deshaun and you don't end up getting Deshaun, and so you don't end up drafting a quarterback, and so you don't want to have that. All right, draft time. If the Texans are not willing to trade Deshaun Watson and they are holding their feet to the fire and saying, we're not trading Deshaun, and they want to drag it out all the way until training camp, at that point, you can go ahead and take a step back and say, look, we've tried our best. We've tried everything we could in our power, and I hope the Bears do that. I hope they do reach out to Deshaun, see if he's even interested in coming here, see what it would take to get Deshaun, do their due diligence. But after that, go about your business and try to see, okay, do we have a quarterback we like in this draft? Don't force it, but if you do like somebody in the draft, go ahead, draft that quarterback, whether it be a Mac Jones. A lot of people have talked about him being a potential at number 20 because we know the Trey Lances of the world, the Zach Wilsons will probably be gone by then. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence going number 1 overall. But if you have a guy you've identified that you like, go ahead and draft that guy, all right? Because the draft, to me, is the last real deadline for Deshaun Watson. Now, again, the Texans could drag it out until training camp of next season. They could do that. I think it would be extremely dumb to do so, but they could do that. Ultimately, though, I believe they will trade Deshaun Watson by the draft because this is when you will have the opportunity, if you're the Texans, to use those draft picks, right? If you trade with the Jets, I'm just saying, if they end up trading Deshaun to the Jets because the Jets have the most ammo in terms of draft capital, they can use that number 2 overall pick that the Jets have. They can use the number 3 overall pick if they trade with the Dolphins. So it makes no sense to me for the Texans to not trade Deshaun Watson. We don't want Deshaun Jackson, by the way. We want Deshaun Watson by draft time. So by the draft, if you have not been able to acquire Deshaun Watson, it's time to get and start focusing on plan B, C, etc. All right? Because, again, only one team is going to get Deshaun, and as much as I want him and as much as you wait as long as you want to get Deshaun, this is real life. You have to be able to move on when things don't go according to plan, and this is that scenario. So, to me, the draft is when I would, wait the longest to go ahead and get Deshaun, and after that, let the chips fall where they may, whether that be drafting a quarterback, trading for a guy. I've mentioned a bunch of guys: Derek Carr, Jimmy G, Sam Darnold, Gardner Minshew, whether that be, trying to acquire all those guys, whatever the case may be, the draft would be my deadline. So there you have it, folks. Let me know if you guys agree with me or disagree. Leave a comment down below. As always, thanks for watching.